One of the saddest things is when people come, pray, fast, and God doesn't hear. Then they come and give burnt sacrifices. God doesn't receive it. The church will collect it all, but heaven has no respect for it. And he's telling them why. Number one, their prayers are not being heard, and their offerings are not being received. He explains to them why. Verse 14. Yet you said, for what reason? Because the Lord has been witness between you and the wife of your youth, with whom you have dealt treacherously, yet she is your companion and your wife by covenant. That is what I want to establish first. Marriage is a covenant. Biblical marriage, Christian marriage, is built on the foundation of covenant. True knowledge is a house built. Actually, it's written twice in Proverbs. One, he said, true knowledge is a house built. In the other place, he said, the Lord by knowledge founded the earth. By his understanding, he established it. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. And then Solomon wrote again and said, true wisdom is a house built. By understanding is established. Through knowledge, the chambers are made to function. If you're going to build successful marriage, successful relationship, the raw material for doing it is knowledge. Not emotions. This is the foundation I want to lay. And the knowledge of what? The principal knowledge. There are a number of other knowledge you need to get alongside. Men and female needs, men and female differences, and so on and so forth. But the principal knowledge that is the foundation is the knowledge of covenant relationships. Let me say it this way before I bring these three guys again. Jesus said, on this rock I built my church. So anybody that wants to build a church or build ministry and want something built to last should build it on the rock. If you want to build believers that will stand the test of time, build them on the rock. If you want to build families that will stand the test of time, build it on the rock. The principle for building the church is the same principle for building the family. Everything you have at home, you have in the church. Both are families. One is man's natural family, the other is God's spiritual family. One is a picture of the other. In the church, you have parents, you have siblings, you have younger ones, you have elder ones. You also have uncles and cousins. Let me explain this, and then I'll leave it. Two major times God built his house in the Old Testament. The first time, it was a tent. The second time, it was a temple. When he was doing the T1 project, tent, the primary raw material used was wood. But it was a specific type of wood called acacia wood. A-C-A-C-I-A. Acacia wood. It belongs to the family of cedar wood. Why did God choose acacia? Because acacia wood is an incorruptible wood. I'm thinking of a wood in this our environment, Nigeria, that I can use to compare it. The closest is pine tree. You know pine tree? That wood is very hard. If you can cut down other trees with your knife. When you try pine tree, and then it's not just that it's hard, it can last. There is another wood that is almost incorruptible. My head is forgetting the English name for it, even though I know it. What is, for people in the East, what is autopsy called in English? You know this small bamboo wood. You put it in water, it survives. You leave it on ground, it survives. Termite hardly bite it. They use it to support buildings in building projects because it has strength like steel. You see it small, long and small. And this thing can grow up to 4-story. Of course, Chinese bamboo can grow up to 4-story building high. Yes, somebody can climb on top. It will bend like this, do like this. It doesn't break. There is a wood called acacia wood. Termites can't eat it. It does not decay. It does not corrupt. You build a house. Like we went to where the white people entered Nigeria. We showed us the one in Calabar. They took us again to Badagry and showed us. And they would say, this is the oldest, the first story building in Nigeria that was built in so year. Long before independence, long before amalgamation. And then they will tell you, and the wood is still there. They say, we only do small maintenance work around it. And you climb up, it stays strong, it carries you. You look at it, there is no termite. I don't know the name of the wood they used to do that. But God is talking that God built Moses' tabernacle with a type of wood because he meant that if the children of Israel does not sin, that tabernacle can last as long as their nation will last. It was in the days of Eli, the priest, the high priest, that the Philistines came and destroyed that tabernacle. David now built the one they call the Tabernacle of David. So later, David now wanted to build a real temple. And he came up with the idea, but God, said it was Solomon that would build it, but gave David the blueprint. And when it was the temple again, God said this time, build it of rock. And this is solid rock. We're not talking about sedimentary rock that is like chalk. We're talking about basematic rock, a type of igneous rock. So I've been to Israel, I've been to the Temple Mountain. They have brought the temple down, burnt it, but the rocks of the temple are still there. Of course, while we were praying, I sat down on one of them that is as big as an elephant. After thousands of years, those rocks are still there. That's what Jesus was talking about. Built to last. Built to be durable. Built in such a way that he cannot fail. Build it with acacia wood. Or build it with the rock. On this rock, I will build my church. So now, that's what you should be saying. On the rock, I will build my family, my marriage. And the gates of hell cannot withstand against it. And somebody asked me, what is rock? You bring God as the foundation of your marriage. You build your marriage on the teachings of Christ, on God's kingdom principles and values. The Bible said the world passeth away, but he that does the will of God will endure forever. Truth endures forever. Truth will always prevail. Build it on solid kingdom principles. Build it on kingdom values. Don't build on emotion. That is what is causing the collapse of the marriage institution in our time.